So, welcome to the video. This is the Ghost Beginner video of the How to Play Guild Wars 2 Lunatic Inquisition video series. And hopefully you're here to learn how to be a ghost. So, you're a ghost. Maybe you joined the match instance midway. Maybe you were chosen by the Mad King algorithm at the start of a round randomly. Maybe you died, becoming converted into your new afterlife as a courtier of the Lunatic Court. In any case, you are now an axe-wielding ghost with one directive: to kill, convert, the other hapless villagers. You will spawn in at the top of the hill in the center of the Mad Labyrinth, which is where I am right now, either inside the mausoleum with Mad King Thorn, hello Mad King Thorn, or on top of the mausoleum, as ghosts sometimes do, because why not? Alright, let's go over the map. First of all, I assume that if you're here, you probably already know the basics of the map, but I'll go over them very briefly here. In each of the four directions, there is a hallway that leads into and out of the center. In each of the corners, there are these mausoleums that have an NPC inside that gives an event for all of the villagers to work on. That's not really our concern, but it is worth noting just because it's a place where you will often find villagers as they work on completing those events. For our purposes, we'll be mainly concerned with two things. The first of which are going to be the alarm walls. There's one located in the north, right here, one in the east, right here, one in the south, right here, and one in the west, right here. Over in the east side, we can see that there's a ping happening right now. This occurs whenever a villager moves in front of one, and it will ping not only this map here, but also the mini-map as well. It's good to note when that happens, and all of the ghosts will be pinged on your team, but in case others missed it, you are welcome to notify the others in chat. Also on the map, in each of the four directions, at the end of these hallways, as you can see I'm traveling down the right hallway, the east hallway, are going to be these teleport pads. The teleport pads are in each of the four directions. I think you can even see them a little bit here on the map as well. The little round circles, and in here they have a face. Using these will allow you to choose to teleport to any of the other teleport pads in any of the directions. This will help you get around a lot faster and being able to perhaps cut off any villagers that are trying to escape. Also, you will be able to see dots on the minimap and on the map as well. Right now we can see that there is a villager who is running south, for example. And we see another villager over here in the south. These dots are their locations, and so long as you're standing on the teleport pad, you will be able to see that location. It again shows up on your minimap as well, so a good idea here is to communicate with your team, either in the team chat or the map chat, to let them know where you are seeing villagers at. Additionally, you might occasionally see some white icons, these classes or professions as they're called in Guild Wars 2. These icons, whenever they are white colored, are the villagers, whereas these colored icons are your fellow ghosts. Some tips are simply to keep checking your minimap or map frequently for the real-time updates on where the villagers are located, and paying attention to which direction that they're traveling, so that way, like I said before, you're able to cut them off. Maybe trap them in some kind of a pincer movement. That should be it for the map. Alright, I went ahead and paused the video earlier so that way I could get a little bit more time in a new match. And I have here with me a couple of my guildmates and, dare I say, friends, who are going to help demonstrate some of our ghostly skills. First of all, to note, our movement is considerably slower. Yep, very good. Our movement as ghosts is considerably slower than the villagers are. So just a quick demonstration, if you could, let's run and go. As you can see, they are moving slightly ahead of me. It's easier in a longer stretch, but do trust me, they are faster. So to compensate for that, we are deadly. They do not have weapon skills, but we do. First up, we have Chop. I will try to only hit one of them, though it is an AoE. Chop, chop, chop does about that much damage. I can hit both exactly. It's a pretty large AoE, so that's how that one works. Then we have a number 2, Eviscerate. It does a massive amount of damage. As you can see, it just about killed Varus there. Third, we have a Terrifying Screech. It deals a small amount of damage and then pulses Fear, I think, twice. The fourth and final skill here is an AoE Fear. It fears everything and gives you another skill that you can use to teleport to the Scarecrow. And then finally there are traps. I will come to those soon. Alright, I changed my mind. I will demonstrate some of the tips that ghosts can have as skills. I wasn't sure what was going to happen there, but we have to just roll with the time that we're given. You can use your number 4 to fear them into a wall or corner while you're on the run. Getting them into a corner, of course, makes them an easier target. Since the fear condition forces them to move away from you in a straight line, you can also change your position relative to the villager's position to attempt to fear villagers, again, either into a wall or corner or into other ghosts. You can also try to fear them off of ledges, but as you can see, as I'm moving, it is forcing Sniper here to change directions. If Sniper Lily is able to survive long enough, at the end of the match here, I will use a combination to go ahead and kill them. The match will end. And then I will show you one last combination, putting all of our knowledge together. It's alright. If they're dead, that's fine. We teleport, and then immediately use the number 2 before they can get away. I'll let your imagination do the rest. I'll see you again whenever I can demonstrate some of the items that we can use. Okay, so once again, I'm back in this area. And our first item up, just by way of convenience, is the web trap. You pick up a spider web item that you see on the ground. It will give you a new skill here in your 5th skill slot. I'll set it down here, and whenever one of them walks into it, that's your cue, whoever. Yep, great. It will inflict them with immobility and crippled. As you can see, immobile lasted just a brief moment, but the cripple duration is very significant, making the web trap one of the best traps that you can have as a ghost. Next up, we have whichever item comes into my possession, food. This will create a fake Banquet trap, which is great for villagers that don't know the difference between the fake banquets or fake feasts and the true feasts. Walking into it will poison them. It lasts a very long time. Each tick of poison dealing a certain amount of damage, and it'll go until they're at 50% left if they're at full health. The next trap we have, I believe, is going to be the torch trap here. Thank you. The torch trap is similar to the poison trap, and if we could have Varus walk into it, deals a moderate amount of damage, also about half of their health, but it's all at once. Looks like our party might be over here, so I will pause and see you again soon. Alright, we're back once again. It just goes to show how quickly these games can get out of hand. But without further ado, the bone trap. Whenever you have a bone and you set the bone trap, it will create a portal that you can use to go back. It creates the portal directly at your feet, and so you'll have to keep an eye out for that. You are able to take it back and forth multiple times, but usually that's not going to do much good. It's ideal to set the bone portal trap at the entrance to a dead end, such as this dead end right here, As you know, any villagers who make it past you will trigger the trap, and hopefully you will be able to quickly get to your bone portal wherever you left it and use it and take it back to catch them as they're leaving. The next trap here is the Goo Trap. Using black goo, you can set an ink trap. It will mark them. Let's go ahead and see that. This green trail, it lasts 15 seconds, and they will run around, and when it's like this, it can be a little confusing, but otherwise you'll be able to more easily follow these very speedy villagers as they take their twists and turns and run around corners. If they go and try to hide, you will be able to see exactly where they stopped and started hiding. All right. So generally, the goo and bone traps aren't that useful. It's probably better in general to deal some flat damage with the torch, long time damage with the poison, or like I mentioned earlier, the web is probably the absolute best one because it single-handedly slows down a villager long enough for you to kill them with your axe, so you don't even really need the damage from anything else. Finally, I will show you a tip here. Villagers have their weapons. One of the things as a ghost that you'll benefit greatly from is learning how to deal with a villager that has a torch. When they throw the torch, it will CC you. You'll roll on the ground. It's an animation. You can't do anything about it. However, if you jump in the air when they throw it at you, it will still set you on fire, but as you can see, I am not suffering any sort of crowd control, not stuck in an animation, and I'm free to continue my pursuit. All right, so the last couple of tips here for general combat is don't worry about death at all. If you die, you will respawn on the ground where you died in just a few seconds, and furthermore, you will be temporarily immune to all effects and damage. You can use this temporary invulnerability to use your teleport / combo on any villagers mad enough to stay nearby. So I will go ahead and demonstrate that now properly, like we were unable to do. So imagine I have just been killed. I come back up. We throw down our fear, teleport to it, and then hit with the number 2. Make sure you have a target selected. I'll wait for the scoreboard to go away here. It'll be fear, teleport, number 2. Villagers are able to dodge through this, through the fear, so it's generally a good idea to place the fear just slightly ahead of wherever a villager is running. So that way you can still land the undodgeable number 2. Alright, and lastly, just to go over a few of those items that we are unable to cover here. There is a hammer that will spawn in the middle area. Ghosts cannot use hammers, and likewise ghosts are unable to use any of the other related secret items. If you want to know more about those secret items, I will go over those in the villager videos, as it is most pertinent to the villagers themselves. And then as a final tip on the items, when you're using traps, you want to place them at the entrances to the dead-end hallways, like I mentioned with the bone trap earlier, and as well as placing them around corners. This is simply so that way villagers who are known for being a lot faster than us will not be able to make as great of a distance or gap between you and them whenever they're cutting corners, especially if you can hit them with a web trap as they're coming out of a dead end or rounding a corner up ahead. The final things that we're going to cover here with our last 2.5 minutes, hopefully, of this game round are the Mad King Says skills that you have, also called the MKS Emotes, the Emote skills, MKS skills, whatever. We'll start with going from left to right here on your skill bar. They are how long it will take for villagers to complete the the emote. So first we'll start with Shrug. It will create an effect here. It lasts about 11 seconds. They have that much time to try to select the correct emote and then use it. If they do complete it in time, as properly demonstrated by Sniper there, it will damage you and knock you back. It's actually a pretty good distance of a knockback. In addition to that, they gain a buff that makes them immune to further Mad King Says. Let's go ahead and see that again. It'll make them immune to the further uses of Mad King Says. I will go ahead and try to hit them with another one. If the skill comes back, there we go. Hopefully before it runs off. And while they are immune, it again knocks you back, though it does not deal any damage. In addition to the damage knockback, it also grants them super speed, allowing them to just run very far away from you and kind of destroying any hope you have of catching them. Speaking of hope of catching them, they have a very long window to execute 3 very short duration emotes. If you hit them with a longer one, like Ponder, they are still able to do it. Go ahead. However, you can use Fears to interrupt it, and now they don't have enough time to complete Ponder. This will stun them and deal some damage, which is great for catching up to them. However, 1 might not be enough. We might have to cut this short here, and I will see you in the next match. Alright, and we're back, hopefully to be able to finish off the MKS demonstrations. Alright, so last but not least, we have the Mad King Says dance. This one is next to impossible for them to pull off. I will go ahead and use it, and you'll also notice something else as I do this. That villager was holding a item, using an MKS on them, forced them to drop the item. As you could see, I waited until the last couple of seconds before using any kind of fear to interrupt that. That's just to demonstrate how long the dance does last for. So do keep in mind that it does have the longest duration and therefore is the hardest for villagers to pull off. And last but not least, it's good for you to know that whenever you see a villager holding a tankard of ale or just an empty mug, whatever that is, that means that they're holding food. Sometimes it can be difficult to see this, especially on smaller character models like an Asura, but if you do start developing an eye for it, it's good to note that. So, I will try to cast one of these Mad King Says emotes on this person. And odds are, if they have already consumed the food, go ahead please, it will go ahead and knock me back as well, because as you can see it has that same buff there, Mad King's Bounty. You'll also note that when villagers are carrying that, sometimes they will eat that right as you're casting Mad King Says, and I will go over some of the counters that you have as a ghost in the veteran ghost video, on how you can deal with some of the other tricks that villagers have up their sleeves. Alright, a couple of tips for the Mad King Says skills. First tip is to make sure that you do in fact have a villager selected when you're going to use Mad King Says on them. If I have no one selected and I start casting Mad King Says Shrug, no one is shrugging, because we're not saying it to anyone. So again, make sure that you do have someone selected when you're going to cast the emote. Another thing too is, in addition to being able to interrupt people, you can cast Mad King Says on them. Let me just go around the corner real quick and do this. I'm going to cast Mad King Says on one of them, and they might die here. I'm going to say Mad King Says Salute. You can attempt to CC them. You can also just hit them with an axe. They are standing still after all. And then if I can get one of them to start to die, there we go. I'm going to have Varus die to the Mad King Says effect. If I get his health low enough here, when the dance finishes and he hasn't performed it, it will kill him because of the damage that we saw earlier. And finally, there's no demonstration needed for this. As you can tell, it is very powerful to use these Mad King Says emotes, or MKS skills. So if you're feeling fair, if you're feeling kind, or you just want to challenge yourself, then use the 3 skills here on the left, because they are short and easy for them to accomplish. This is just a sort of bit of etiquette if you're going to use them at all. If you're feeling a bit, if you feel like you need a longer duration that's necessary to catch up to the villager or secure the kill, then go ahead and use the 2 that are on the right. It's just some unofficial etiquette for this, because spamming Mad King Says is a guaranteed way to kill a villager, but is also mostly unnecessary as you learn how to use your other skills better, and simply unfun for people who enjoy chasing or being chased in this game mode. That said, you should always play in a way that feels right to you. Thanks for watching, and may you have a happy Halloween.